Okay, off of the forum somebody said, hey, I saw your MIG cart and I saw that moose looking horseshoe thing you have for a cable holder. Can you show us how to make one? And I figured that would be an easy, simple project for today. So I made this, like I said, I put it on the cart. It looked like fun. I didn't know what to do with it. It's come in handy for hanging stuff on from time to time when I'm welding or whatever I'm doing. It could be my 4.5-inch angle grinder or something because I moved my cart to a different location and it's not near my welding table, or just to hang stuff on. That's the project that we'll do today. And hey, like always, let's make this introductory part short and let's get right to it. So first thing you're going to need horseshoes. You're going to need an angle grinder, 4.5-inch or whatever you got, with a cutoff blade. And it would help if you had, you know, some kind of an abrasive wheel, a flat disc, or a grinding wheel on there to kind of polish things up when we're done. And you need some way to weld. It could be oxyacetylene, arc welding, or MIG welding. I don't know what you have, but those are the basics. If you have those things, you're good to go on making this stuff. If you don't have them, search around Craigslist, eBay, whatever you got to do, garage sales. Okay, but this is the project. Let's go over to the welding table. Let's get started. Okay, we're coming back around to that moose head tool holder that we were talking about. Kind of like, how do you make it? I'm showing you a picture of my welding table here. Now what I like to do is lay out all my pieces and cut everything, if I can do it before welding. And you can do it on some of the easier projects. You can't do it on some of the harder ones. This is an easier project. So horseshoes, you know, you can buy them off eBay, you can buy them from a farrier. Sometimes people just give them to you. Railroad spikes, if you're going to use those instead of the horseshoes. I get mine off eBay. I can usually find a good deal on them if I'm not in a rush. And so I got a whole bunch of those, a box of them. Anyway, long story short, take the horseshoes and get the nails off them. You can use an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel and just cut the nails off rapidly. While you're doing that, think about where you're going to weld and lightly just touch them. It'll take the rust off and you'll be weld prepping at the same time. So here's the layout. I have all of the horseshoes. This is kind of an easy project because you don't have to do a lot of cutting. So I lay them out. I've got, here's the head part. I have it sitting there and we're going to do that in a minute. And then here I have 3 on each side. That'll create the horns, and we'll get a couple of bolts for the eyes. Now, to make the hooks for hanging stuff, I have to take a couple other horseshoes, and I basically just eyeball it and cut them down the middle real quick. Those will create the hooks that we're going to weld on there. So I'll show you. I'm going to set that up and cut them for you right now on here so you can see how I do it, and then we'll get ready to weld. Hold on one moment. Okay, here I went ahead and I grabbed 3 horseshoes. I put 3 clean ones back. I grabbed 3 that have nails just to show you. I'll show you how fast this is and how to weld prep at the same time with the same disc. So here we go. Got my 4.5-inch angle grinder. Got a cutoff wheel on it. Now I know on the back approximately where I'm going to weld. So I just take this. There's a better shot. Okay, the nails are off. It's been weld prepped. Now I'm going to do that to the next 3, I'm sorry, 2 more. I'll be right back. Okay, after you got that done, I take those same 3 because we need 6 hangers, and I'm going to cut them in half. So I just approximate where the middle is. I take that same angle grinder with the same cutoff. Okay, there are the 6. Now, to cut those nails off, prep them, and then cut them down the middle, I'll bet it took me about 1.5 minutes. You can just go zip, 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 call it done. Well, somebody said, hey, you keep setting down your 4.5-inch angle grinder. What, do you just drop it on the table? No. I have a piece of 1-inch wide mild steel right below, and I welded it from one side all the way over to the other side. And I just hang them on there, just like this. For me, you know, I have it set up a little differently than you might at home. This has got, oh, I'll show you. Over here, I got one that I got at a garage sale, a few bucks, and it was missing a handle, and I just made it out of some steel. It's a little bulky, it works for me, and I don't use it all day long. Then I have another DeWalt. This is the second one. It's got a cutoff wheel. That one has a diamond blade on it. I can change it anytime I need to, and that big one in the back, it's a large Bosch. I use that for big heavy duty stuff. It's kind of rare. Then I have my other DeWalt. Like I said, it's got the cutoff wheel. I've got a Makita and I have a Milwaukee. These are newer ones. This one I got, the Makita I got at a garage sale. I got it cheap. Milwaukee I bought because I really like Milwaukee. I like Makita, I like DeWalt. I don't have a specific favorable brand. Anyway, down here on the end, I've got 80 grit set up on there, flap wheel. I have a 60 grit on here, flap wheel set up, and I have my cutoff. For you, you might have to change that blade as we go forward with this project, but you don't have to go overboard. It's a real rough project that we're doing. So let's get back to it. Now I have all my hangers cut. I have my horseshoes that I need. Let's lay it out and let's get started with the welding. 1 minute. Okay, here I put the first set of horns in place. And all I'm using is one of these 98-cent Lowe's yardsticks. And I just set it on there and I it's not perfect, but look, it gets it nice and kind of even. And you'll see here in the very front, I use that to make it look straight up and down. And then I use that yardstick just to keep the horns level, I guess to some degree. But we're gonna go ahead and weld those right now and I'll be right back. Okay, I welded those in place. Now I bring the whole thing forward so that the part of this is off of my welding table. That's so I have enough room for the next set of horns going up. So let me lay it out, I'll be right with you. Okay, here's the next set laid out, same yardstick routine. Now I do use these leather sleeves to prevent that splatter from hitting my skin. But here we go. Okay, now what I do at this point, you got a little bit of lift over here and wobble and it's not flat. And so I want to make it flat. So now I just kind of tap on it or bend it in my vise. Most of the time I can flip it over and I just go like this. Okay, from that I got it nice and flat. Now, I go ahead and add some welds onto the back of this after you get done pounding on it. Now, this thing's pretty hot at this point, and we haven't done the last row or welded the hooks to it. So I'm going to stop the video, just run it underwater. I'll be right back. Okay, now I have the last row lined up before we start working on the hooks. On this side I did a really crappy weld on purpose. I want to show you how you can make this still look good. Let me get my welder. You go in kind of a little bit of a C pattern or an E like they tell you online. And you can get these looking pretty good. Sometimes I just blast it like that to fill in the gap. Now, I'm going to turn it over, and you can see this thing's still a little tweaked, so we need to hit it a little bit. Okay, that will take care of that, and I've got it pounded down straight, so it should be flat. Okay, after bending and tweaking in the vise and playing around, I got it to where it's sitting fairly darn flat. When we're totally done, all you got to do is put it in a vise, pull it one way or the other, and it'll level each one of these out totally. But I use the sledgehammer and a vise to get it somewhat that way. Okay, let's start putting on those hooks. Now what I'm going to do after I hold these half cut ones up there, they're a little too long. So I want to take them down a little bit and try them. So I'm going to go about that far, take that much off for just a sec. So let's go up to the vise real quick. Hold on a sec. Okay, so I cut that off. That seems to work real well when we set it up there. I'm going to cut that much off all the rest of these. So what I did is I laid the one out that I liked on each one of these, marked it with a soapstone. So I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to cut these. I don't want to waste the filming time on something that you already can do real easily. Use this one as a pattern, cut the other 5, then we'll have the hooks with some spacing and they look right. So if not, just cut a little more off. Be right back. Okay, so here I've welded 2 of them on. Now let's go over here and let's keep welding, and I'll explain to you on 1 or 2 of them how I do this. But again, for film's sake, you don't need to watch me weld up all 6. But here are the basic idea. I go ahead and I take it. I'm going to hold it on about right in the middle, in an upright position, in the middle, just the way I want it. Try to center it best you can. Put some tack weld. Which was more than a tack weld. But you say, hey, that's just like a little to the right. Get one of your little slips. There. Now it's nice and straight. Weld the other side. Sometimes I put a little bit more weld on because you're going to see later we're going to dress those welds up with those flap wheels. Okay, so now we've done these 3 right here in a row. And we've got a few more left to do. Now we want to put one here in the middle on the bottom of his chin. You're going to do it the same way. Make it nice and straight. Angle it up however you want in the middle. Hold it there. Now, truthfully, you should probably tack weld these. I don't do them. I've made a bunch of these, so I don't know. I don't tack weld something like this, but you probably should. Then you can tweak this however you want. Then go ahead and start completing your welds. Like I said, a little overkill, but you get to practice your welding at the same time. Now if I have to, even though it's too much weld, I add more weld to them just to make them look good. I mean, sometimes you get a lot of porosity in these things, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just kind of went the wrong way with your welding. So you can kind of come back, make it look right. We can, grind down and use the flap wheel later to make them look good. Let me pause the video, let me get these done, and I'll be right back. Now, we're going to put the eyes in. You got to go find a couple of bolts or go down and buy them. I think these are about 40 cents each. And you line them up in the upper part of that horseshoe, like I have them. And if you bring the tip of this down and use your straight edge of your bench, you can make it look right. You don't have to go through a lot of measurements. This is just an easy, fun project. Nothing precise. So line the bolts up to where it looks like you have his eyes in place, and we're going to tack weld those in. Or permanently weld them. Practice your welding. Okay, flip it over. Weld from the back side. Is it overkill? Yes. But are you practicing? Yep. Alright, good enough. Let's run it underwater. Let's take a look at it. I'll be right back. Okay, cooled it off with water, and I went ahead and I put it in my vise. It doesn't matter how. Now I'm going to use a 60 grit belt on my angle grinder, and I'm going to go around and I'm going to just touch and fluff and puff all of these welds to make them look right. So I'll pause the video. I'll show you about 1 minute or less, because, well, it's not fun to watch it on video. I know that, and I assume everybody has and knows how to use an angle grinder. So anyway. Now you see something you don't like on here, like right here, I don't like that gap. Well, you just flip back on your welder. Hook up your ground clamp, your shield on. There you go. Fill it in. Be careful. Don't touch this. It's hot. Concentrate on your other welds and cleaning them up and come back to this one later. Okay, here I turned it over upside down. I ground down all the smooth spots all the way across the back that looked high to me. And I also, while you're at it, take that flap disc and go over all the rusted, funky stuff on the back of these horseshoes. The reason why is the next step in a few minutes, you're going to wipe this whole thing down with acetone and let it dry if you intend on painting it. Otherwise, the paint's probably not going to stick like it should. So it only takes several minutes just to wipe it down. It takes another 10 or 15 to let it dry. I would tell you go through the extra step, okay? Don't take shortcuts. Do it the right way. That's all I got to say about this. I'm going to pause it. I'll show you the wipe down in just a little bit. Okay, here's the acetone. Just take it. Paper towel wet. All you gotta do, wipe it down good with acetone. Okay, wipe down the front and back with acetone. We're just gonna let it dry, and we'll play around with a little bit of paint. Well, find out what I got for scrap spray paint laying around. Maybe we'll have some fun, paint it a couple different colors. Let me pause this, let's let it dry out. I'll be back with you. Okay, we're at the tail end of the project, and I found some kind of green, Rust-Oleum gloss. I don't know. It doesn't even tell me what kind of green it is. I got it, some stuff at a garage sale. I got like 10 cans of this stuff for like $5, different colors, so I might as well start using it. Let me pan over. Okay, here it is, and I'm going to do the back first. It doesn't matter what color it is. This is the part that'll go against the wall. So there it is for right now. We'll spin it around here after this dries, and we'll do the front. All right, I'll be back. Okay, there it is. It's painted. I just got it propped up. I'm letting it dry. Go around it, do a few touch-ups. Now you can use the holes that are in it where the nails went through when the farrier put them on the horse to drive screws through, or you can use those same holes as almost like a center punch and drill ones a little bit bigger, and you can put whatever you want to hang this thing when you're done. But it's a cool project. If you want something that's a little novelty, little gimmicky thing, you can hang extension cords from it. You can set your angle grinder up on it depending on how you fasten it to the wall. You can use it for a lot of things in your garage. It's kind of, like I said, kind of something funny to look at and have fun with, but yet it is still of use. Okay, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to me please, and I'll talk to you people soon. This is the Home Handyman. You folks have a good day. We are done with this project. Bye-bye.